If you've ever made a major purchase, chances are credit will be a part of that process. Or maybe you've been on the other side of the tables with your fingers crossed, hoping that you will get approved. And then a person or a company representative tells you, "I'm sorry, but you weren't approved." In this episode, I'm sharing a few of my strategies that will take your credit score from suspect to success. You're listening to the Modern Kings podcast, your source of life-changing information for upgrading your lifestyle and unlocking your keys to success. Welcome to Modern Kings. What's happening, everybody? I am King Prime. I can be found at iamkingprime.com. In today's episode, I want to empower you to boost your credit score and ultimately put you in the driver's seat of leveraging other people's money, other people's time, and other people's effort. Building credit isn't just about getting approved for loans or credit cards. It's about laying a strong foundation for your financial future. And there are some elements of this that are vital for setting you up for success. With identity theft being on the rise and all kind of information being sold out there on the dark web, it is very, very necessary that you monitor your credit, that you pay attention to your credit, that you're giving notice to what's actually happening with and to your credit. Be sure to drop down into the description area because I'm going to put some links and resources down there for you to get started once you take in all of this information. So how big of a deal is credit? Do you know what's more important than throwing money in the strip club? Credit. Drop a line if you know what song that's from. For those who don't know what song that's from, I want you to listen to The Story of OJ by Jay-Z. It's a song that educates people on building wealth and the power of accumulating wealth over time and putting your money where it really matters. Unless you're independently wealthy or you just want to be homeless, you're gonna need credit. Cash is king, but assets reign supreme. And you want assets. Listen, we no longer live in a cash-based society. Most of the things that we do nowadays are cashless. It's all informational based. You look at your landlord, insurers, you look at employers. They all frequently use credit as a key indicator to how are you as a person? Are you responsible? And are you a reliable person? Now, some of you may know or have heard of Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey says that your credit score is your I love that score. Now, Dave and I, that's my boy, that's my man, but Dave and I disagree on some things, and this is one of them. Now, why do you have bad credit? I know you're saying you don't know me like that, but this one thing I do know. You're not paying those people. Listen, the number one way to have a good credit score, man, pay those people. If your credit score is in the trash, it's because you did not pay your bills. Now, other reasons, you could potentially not have good security practices when it comes to your mail, your junk mail, and your real mail. There are instances and cases where people have dumpster dived and gotten information out to stitch together enough information to get credit pulled and established in your name. You're probably also using the same passwords and your online security is very weak. You're using the same password for everything, and once your password is exposed, it's out there. Do you know how many data leaks are out there? Data is compromised every day, especially banking information. There's not 100% transparency across the board with sharing that information. Maybe you were dealt a bad hand with medical bills. I mean, this can happen to anyone. You fall ill, you get thousands and thousands of dollars in debt, and then there you go. You can't maintain that. Or you possibly don't budget. Lastly, you're probably just terrible with money. Now, you're probably wondering too, how's my credit computed? How did they come up with this score, whether it is 250 or 750? Here's how it's done. You have 5 categories. You've got payment history, which makes up 35% of the calculation. Then you've got the amounts owed. So say you have a credit card with $10,000 as a credit limit and you owe $9,000. That's bad. You should keep that number at about 30% as far as what you've charged on that card. So that's the second area of how it's calculated. Next, you have the length of credit history, which is 15%. This is a big deal because sometimes you have credit cards and you're a long-standing customer with the company. It's a good thing to keep those cards around and available. You also have new credit, which makes up 10%. I personally am very selective about where I open up credit and when I open up credit. And lastly, you have the credit mix, which is 10%. Those are installation loans, personal loans, auto loans, mortgages. It's a mixture of repayments that you're doing outside of the other things that I've already mentioned. Well, to go through this again, you've got 5 categories. Payment history, which makes up 35%. Amounts owed, which make up 30%. Length of the credit history, which is 15%. New credit, which is 10%. And the credit mix, which is 10%. Now let's find out what your credit score truly is. Here's how we're going to do it. For starters, you probably have an online bank account, maybe a credit card or two. And through the banking institution's app or the credit card app, there's a place on there that says, show me my FICO score. That is one place that you can get your credit score revealed to you. It's not totally comprehensive and it only gives you the feedback from one particular company. Now, for reference, there are 3 credit companies. It's TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. And with these 3 companies, you can request a credit report once a year from each of these companies. And that's an excellent place to start to find out what's on your credit report. Now, if you think credit is worth the while, or if you think it's overrated, drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts on credit. Is it total BS or does it need to be on point? Now that we have those credit bureaus, we want to monitor and audit everything that's on those lists. You have a certain amount of time before certain discrepancies will fall off of your credit report. So you want to look at a duration of what is on your credit report, what is in bad standings, and was it actually you that committed that? Was it you that was responsible for these things on the credit report? Or is it something that falls outside of your awareness? There are some things that can be caught prior to you even requesting or receiving a credit report. And that's if you were to monitor your transactions closely. I'm not talking every day, but maybe once a week, maybe every 2 weeks. Just track your spending. And if you notice something abnormal, you can catch it early before it even gets to the place of having to deal with the credit agencies. And as you're evaluating your report, you may wonder, why is my score so low? Whether you're through the app, whether you're reading the report, any place that you're accessing the information is going to let you know specifically why your score is low. It could say hard credit inquiry. It could say new credit. It could say payment 60 days late. But most of the time, the explanation is there. Now, if you don't know what a hard inquiry is versus a soft inquiry, that's where you go to, say, get an apartment or you want to get pre-approved for a loan. They look at specific criteria within your credit and say, hey, this looks good, but they don't pull it and put all of your information in to actually get a score back. One indicator when you're dealing with people that pull credit, if they're asking you for your social security number, chances are they're pulling a hard credit, and that's going to negatively impact and affect your credit score. You should not get too many of these done within a short period of time. Now, personally, I've had to learn many of these things the hard way. I've learned them over time, and I consider it tuition. But now that I know better, I want you to be better with this information. I'm recalling a time right now, about 15 years ago, someone ordered a Nordic Track home workout machine back when those were, I guess, the thing to have. It was about $7,000, and man, that was a lot of money, still a lot of money. But the short of it is I was diligent about it, I was on top of it, and I did get it resolved. So how do you get this credit repaired? There's credit repair services, and they are not all created equally. You may see signage that's saying, we fix your credit at a corner of a stop sign or at a stoplight or what have you. And there are also some high-level companies that provide such services. If you happen to use one of these companies, I would suggest that you ensure that they have proven results and that they have a track record that supports the direction that you want to go in. Look at their testimonials, talk to some of their customers. If they can't provide you that information, then you probably shouldn't be working with them. You know your situation better than anyone else. If I can give you some takeaways and action plans, is for you to get your balances down, because the balance of your credit card matters as a larger percentage of your formula. Getting your credit card down is one of the biggest things that can increase your credit score. And you cannot manage what you cannot measure. So I'm going to suggest that you write it down or use some type of spreadsheet or software to look at your overall numbers, where things are going. If your income exceeds your outcome, then your outgo will be your downfall. So write it down and map it out. Putting your bills on auto pay, that's a really, really easy win. That's a layup. It will have your bills paid every time on time. Now you got to have money in the account. So that means you have to be financially disciplined. But I believe that you can do that, and that's an easy win for you. Next up, order your credit report right away. It's free. It costs you nothing except for a little bit of time and effort. All three: TransUnion, Experian, Equifax. Once you receive it, look it over and look for errors. You just might find some stuff that you didn't even buy. Your uncle bought that stuff. You don't even like what was purchased. It was your shady uncle or your auntie. If you found value in this episode, or you know someone that could use this episode, it would mean the world to me if you would share this episode to them or to someone that needs it. I appreciate you. If this episode was valuable to you, it would mean a lot to me for you to leave a 5-star review here. And let me leave you with a quote from John Hope Bryant. Nothing changes your life more than God, love, and moving your credit score 120 points. Follow me at YouTube at King Prime. That's the @ symbol and King Prime after that. Follow me on Instagram at iam.kingprime. And I just got to say this, I'm loving your feedback, your engagement, and it just fires me up to be able to continue to provide this avenue to help people be the best version of themselves. Many of you are tuning in, watching the video version of this. I'm really excited about that. And there are quite a few of you that are unsubscribed. So if it's providing value, I'm dropping this content consistently, and I would love it if you're subscribed so that you can continue to be on this growth path and growth journey with me. Until next time, look your best, do your best, and be your best.